We now speak to Tabelo Timse, an investigative reporter at AmaBhungane Centre for Investigative Journalism. This is following the news that the city of Ekurhuleni Mayor Mzwandile Masina was reportedly involved in a high-speed car crash after curfew hours, and this was last year. It's believed that Mayor Masina was driving a luxury state vehicle without permission when he rammed into the back of a large goods truck driving down the N12 West highway near Alberton in Johannesburg. AmaBhungane has stated that a witness told the police that Masina behaved as if he was drunk at the time. The incident has reportedly been kept under wraps 13 months later since the accident. For more on this, we speak to Tabelo. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you so much for making time for us. So you have this information about this accident that has taken place. Have you been able to get to what has been done after the investigation?
Well, let's start just defining, what is investigation, because when I have the accident report, it looks to me like an accident report more than not an investigation to say. So, I mean, that's the whole point of my article, was to say why there wasn't any follow-up being a proper investigation into this matter in terms of what actually happened. So the article is raising those type of issues, why, no questions were never asked after that night.
Yeah. So no questions that were asked after that night, but did you get an explanation as to what happened to that investigation? Because in your report as well, there's one of the statements that came, I think, from somebody from the EMPD who had said that they'd spoken to the mayor, and the mayor said that he had no knowledge that he was not allowed to be driving the car.
So according to the report, that was the only follow-up that was done, because it was done on the 20th itself. Remember, the accident happened on the 20th of August, so at midnight. So when the superintendent came in and found out about this accident, he spoke to the mayor to ask what happened, and then the chief of police was called to just to ask what happened. So she says there was a conversation between the mayor and the chief police. And the mayor then expressed that he didn't know that he needed permission to drive this vehicle, and he apologized and he said he'll never do it again. And then that was the end. Mm-hmm. So hence I'm saying beyond that day, nothing happened except for that.
Yeah. And according to the truck driver that you spoke to, what did he say?
Well, the truck driver, in terms of, he said, well, firstly, there was never any follow-up, after this. He was still angry about how he was treated on the scene. And he basically told me, in his words, in terms of what his experience was, his version of events, if I may put it that way, his version of events in terms of what happened. And he said, he was driving, he was carrying goods. He was on his way to Kimberley to deliver the goods. He's a truck driver by profession, and then he started noticing this car, which was driving erratically, on the highway. Because remember that time, it's midnight, it's after curfew, it's lockdown, so there weren't many cars. So he was just looking at his mirror, and the next thing, the car that he's been observing, is it has crashed into him. And then he needed to control his truck because he was driving on the highway. And then afterwards, he says, the mayor came out of the car, and then soon afterwards there were other cars that stopped, and he suspected that there were people that were driving with him. And then they came in to confront him. But and they were being, abusive, saying that you want to kill the mayor. What are you doing? Why did you hit the mayor? So he says he didn't know Masina, from above. So all he heard was, he didn't even know that this mayor is called Mzwandile Masina. He just heard the name Mayor. And then the mayor also came to him, just like asking him, like, what are you doing? Are you trying to run away? And then there was a heated confrontation between the two of them, and then the mayor was put away by the people that on the scene.
Okay.
So that's what he told me.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate that. Tabelo Timse there, investigative reporter at AmaBhungane Centre for Investigative Journalism.